Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're going to be glad you're here too. What's up? We back. I hope you are well. I hope you are doing good. I hope you're feeling good. We've got a good one for you today, talking about insecurities, talking about how our insecurities play a huge role in our relationships and how we interact with others. So if you listen and if you really take it in, it's going to sting a little bit, but we're here to help, right? But first, have you subscribed? You know I'm gonna ask you that. Please subscribe. This is just a community where we share things about life with no filter. We talk about faith, family, fitness, marriage, relationships, work, all of that good stuff. Life is crazy, but it is a little better when we share what has worked with us and what hasn't with other people. So please hit subscribe, share this content with somebody you know needs to hear it. So, before we get into it, we also got to talk about the lip. I think I forgot to talk about the lip in the last one, but here we go. This is I Quit by Fenty Beauty. And it's my first time buying anything from Fenty Beauty. I bought a couple of shades a while back when they were having a sale. So this is called I Quit. And it's got a grayish undertone, but it also has enough brown in it to where it's not ashy on darker skinned people. So if you are looking for something that's still in the nude family, but has a little edge, this would probably be good for you. It is called I Quit. That's good, right? I Quit by Fenty Beauty. Check it out. Okay, so let's get into it. I tweeted a while back about the word insecurity or insecurities and how we have given that such a negative connotation. It has caused us to avoid addressing insecurities altogether. It has this kind of stigma around it. And what we do is we label other people. We say, oh, she's insecure, or he is insecure. He's dealing with insecurity issues. And that may be, but what we have to understand is that we are all insecure about one thing or another. And that's okay. Insecurities happen based on just life experience, things that other people have done to us, said to us, said about us, things that they have projected onto us. So unfortunately, we ingest those things, and whether we deal with them right in that space and time or not, they can still lead to us being insecure about one thing or another as it pertains to ourselves. So reality is, all of us have insecurities. What people who are successful in relationships and people who desire to be self-aware, what they do is not run from those things that they know they are insecure about. They face them head on, which helps them to be able not to project those onto other people. So what happens when we don't deal with our insecurities is definitely projection. We take how we feel about ourselves, whether it's a physical attribute or a personality characteristic, and we don't deal with that internally. We don't deal with what we see in the mirror, and then we project that onto other people and our feelings about them. So I've talked about body image a lot in the past. I have struggled with body image issues for years and still are. And I think if we're honest as women and as men too, if we are honest, we would all admit that at one point or another in our lives, we have struggled with body image issues. That comes not just from what preferences are, right? Like what we like to see or what we feel is an ideal standard of beauty. It's not just that. It also comes from what other people have said to us, how other people have labeled us. I've had dance coaches and cheerleading coaches and modeling scouts say crazy things. And so we ingest those things and it filters into our view of ourselves. So I've always had an issue with my thighs. I am hoping that someday I'll just wake up and love them. that ain't gonna happen. But I've always had that issue. And what happens is when we have these issues that we don't deal with is when we see somebody else, whether it's in a magazine, a music video, when we're just scrolling our timeline, our eyes go straight to that thing that we're insecure about within ourselves. Don't judge me. You do it too. You may not realize that you're doing it, but your eyes zero in on that thing and you start to pick apart. So, right, we don't just do that with ourselves. When we look at a picture of ourselves, we do that to other women too. So it would behoove us to deal with these things because that's really not okay. That woman's thigh, she is not any less beautiful because I have issues with my own. We gotta deal with that, and we gotta stop acting like it's normal, and we gotta stop giving surface and fake compliments and backhanded compliments just because we're insecure within ourselves. We can only be genuine and authentic when we deal with our own internal issues. So, insecurities are very real. And they are very there. And whether we want to admit it or not, sometimes they're in the forefront in our conversations, our dialogue, our interactions. And sometimes they're so subtly in the background of our minds. It's just subconsciously we find a way to pick things apart. And I don't want to trivialize it. I don't want to make it seem that it's just about body image or it's just about physical appearance. No, insecurities come into play when we're looking at personality traits and attributes. There are some women that are very strong-willed and some people that are extremely intelligent. And rather than admitting that we have some insecurities there when it comes to us, we label them. We say, oh, she thinks she all this. Oh, she thinks she that. She's condescending. She may not be any of those things. You just may have issues because those are personality traits that somebody else embodies that you either feel like you don't have or somebody else has told you you'll never have. We got to face some of this stuff head on so that we can just heal. We've got to become whole within ourselves before we can have lasting, substantial, authentic, genuine relationships with other people. This goes for friendships. This goes for romantic relationships. Trust me when I tell you, your marriage, especially in the beginning, you are going to have a hard road to hoe. That's an old school saying. I be saying some stuff my mother and grandmother said. You will have a hard road to hoe if you are not settled and resolved and already working through the insecurities you have before you join into a union with somebody else. It will be a nightmare for them because a lot of times you don't even know how to verbalize what's going on. You're feeling insecure in a moment, in a space, in the bedroom, but you don't know how to verbalize that because you haven't really worked through it. You haven't dealt with it. So it starts to impact. And sometimes it's like a large boulder that can end up blowing up everything, or it's just these little subtle things that over the years start to chip away with your relationships with these other people. But we got to be careful because insecurities can be destructive. But let's not make it so much of a negative thing that instead of saying, yeah, he may be insecure, but so am I. So am I. And here's those things that I know I need to deal with. We're all insecure on one level or another in regards to one thing in our lives, one thing about ourselves or another. And we don't always, not always, sometimes we do, but we don't always have to own how we got that insecurity. Sometimes it has nothing to do with us. Like I said, sometimes it is things that other people have piled on top of us. Literally, we've been a dumping ground for other people's insecurities and other people's self-doubts. Unfortunately, that's just the way life works. That's how humans are. We can be very weird and cruel and destructive like that. So oftentimes we have been a dumping ground for other people's self-loathing even, and they put all this stuff on top of us, and we try to filter it out, but if we don't do the conscious work of digging ourselves out from underneath that, there will be an implosion at some point. Your self-esteem will just implode if you don't deal with these insecurities. So, number one, recognize that you have them and that it's normal and that everybody has them. Number two, try to identify what they are. Even write them down and then pray about them. And then number three, do the active work of trying to dismantle some of them. And the only way you can do that is through self-love. So looking at yourself and saying, my thighs are beautiful. It might be hard to say at first, but they're strong. I'm healthy. They help me to work out. You know, all these other things. Find things to appreciate about that thing you're insecure about. So you've got to do things to break apart some of this stuff, and you got to recognize it within yourself. So build yourself back up first, and then start to genuinely build up your brothers and sisters. Compliments, appreciating them, honoring them when it's appropriate. That's how you can dismantle some of these insecurities and move past them. So I hope this helped you. Again, I just share things that work for me and things that haven't, and things that I've learned through my relationships, through living, through conscious living. That is one of my mantras about life, conscious living. We can't let life live us. We have to live it. And the way we live life better is when we are self-aware and we change the things that don't need to be changed so that we can live a better, healthier, more authentic life. So that's all I got for today. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and sharing your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. I do realize that, and I thank you for spending a piece of it with me today. Please share this. Please comment. If you have insecurities that you had to dig up and work through, let's talk about it. Let us know what worked for you. You guys know what I'm going to say. Keep pushing. You got this.